What's good, family? This is your boy Sodomon of ITBM2, the official channel. So they finally released the surveillance footage after a few days or so of withholding this information from the public and more importantly, the family of Kenneka Jenkins. They finally released it, or should I say a very small portion of the 34 hours of surveillance that the investigators have confiscated. We have about maybe 12 minutes of that. Probably not even that. Now, after viewing the little snippets of information that has been released to the public, I'm still in that gray area, taking them to be honest individuals that they would not tamper with the evidence, that, from what I'm seeing is I see Kenneka Jenkins and she's roaming through the hallway. She does appear to be intoxicated or even high off of some type of drug. She's roaming through the hallways and she ends up into that constructed area. And I see her walk through the kitchen. That's pretty much what we got out of that. Now, according to Andrew Holmes, he said that after viewing the surveillance, he came to the conclusion, or he said he believed that it was Kenneka Jenkins that eventually went into the freezer and locked herself in the freezer. And that she went down into that area on her own accord. Okay, I got that part, but maybe he's seeing some videos that we haven't seen because what I'm seeing is I just see her roaming through the hallways and she does end up in that area, but I don't see her entering that freezer. And I definitely don't see her locking herself inside of the freezer. Now, with that being said, Andrew Holmes is the same individual that lied on her mother, when lied to her mother by saying that he was an investigator, and then he turned around and lied on Teresa Martin, the mother of Kenneka Jenkins, by telling the public that he represented her. So we're going to throw all that on the table at this point in time and take all that into consideration. Because the truth of the matter is that, and I don't have a degree in law, but the whole situation was handled improperly. Right from the outset, you had the mother asking to see the surveillance footage even before she called the police. So I would think that it would be incumbent for the investigators to pull her to the side and say, look, these are some of the video surveillance. It's still under investigation. We don't want to disclose it to the public yet, but we're going to show you, yes, this appears to be your daughter. She's roaming through the hallways and she goes down into the area on her own accord. And then she would have displayed it to the public and, relayed certain hinting towards that to the public. So we would have got the message pretty much. But by the mere fact that they kept that information from her, and in fact, anything that was involving her seeing her daughter, it was all this bullshit. It was all this runaround. Okay, I can't see the surveillance. I want to see the body. You can't see the body yet. We got to throw the body out. And it was all this runaround. Okay, you can see the body, but only you and her can see the body. We're still doing investigation, so we don't want to release the footage yet. So now, the eyebrows are raised, and it's like, yeah, you know. But now, when you look at the video clips, it's clear that it has been tampered with. And that's what we're going to deal with today. So without further ado, let's get to the video clips. Okay, now here's the first video clip. You can clearly she's intoxicated or even high off some drugs, maybe. And she runs into the pole right there. But when she gets to the door, you can see she makes a subtle turn right there. I find it to be very interesting why she would turn like that. But then look at her elbow. How her elbow's kind of sticking out there like somebody grabbed her and pulled her. The way she turned, look how she turns. She makes a subtle stop right there. And then it gets pulled back right there. And you see her elbow sticking out there. You know how like somebody walking down the aisle. It's kind of like that. It's sticking out there that much, you know. And now you see her walking, and then it looks like a little kid that's kind of leaning on the parent, and they trying to get him in the house, and they don't want to go in the house. But then you see a little force goes into it, and her neck kind of torques back right there. See her neck torque back right there, and the momentum from the little push pushes her out of view. You see the little torque right there, right there. She gets torted back. The push becomes a little more aggressive, and then the momentum from it pushes her out of view. Now, let me know in the comment section if you're seeing what I'm seeing, but that's what it's looking like to me. Okay, now the second clip is her down in the kitchen, and the red lines that you're seeing is they're motion detectors. So anything that comes into that vicinity and is moving, it usually puts them inside in the middle of a box. Sometimes you be inside of the box. Usually it's in the middle. But clearly you can see there's two motion detectors that goes off right above Kenneka Jenkins' head in an area that she has yet to occupy. Clearly you can see it right there. The motion detector goes off. So we don't know what that is at this point in time, but as I pause it, you can clearly see that the motion detectors go off. That what they went off for no reason because nothing is moving in that area, and you can see Kenneka Jenkins. She has yet to go into that area. So this is where we at this point in time with that. Okay, now this is a very interesting. I was stuck on this one for a while because it kind of creeped me out when I was looking at it. You could see when she get into the middle of the floor how her body kind of moves, and once again the position of the elbows, the positioning of her arms, like that is questionable to me. Like, why is she walking like that? And it appears as if, when somebody getting arrested and they try to resist arrest and that little squirm, when she gets to the middle of the floor, you see that right there? And then you see in between her elbows, you see a lot of going on, a lot of stuff going on back there. It's not like a clear view. And it's supposed to be a little gap between her elbows where you could see the actual rug, but you don't see that. All you see is a lot of darkness right there. And then you kind of could see the little distortion where they may have tampered with it at, right in the back part. But what I want you to focus in on now is the little light spot. Once you get into the middle of the floor, how it just pops up out of nowhere. Now you have a light spot on her shirt, which would be the front part of her shirt. But then when she makes a subtle turn, you see a light spot pop up right under the armpit, right there. You see that? What is that? What is that? That little light spot right there. Once you get into the middle of the floor, right there, underneath the armpit, right there. That is that is not the rug because she's on the darker end of the rug right there. It's not her jacket because the way the light is, it's kind of like a flash. And that's not her watch because clearly you can see her watch is on her left side, our right side. So that's not her watch. And you could clearly see also that she's outside of the motion detector box. So who is signaling that motion detector? That's the person that may have gotten behind her. Because when you look at the video clip, you could see that she was leaning on the wall and she actually stopped. So whoever did it, they put her in position and pushed her to the middle of the floor with her hands behind her back to get her to walking again. That's what it looked like. And you could clearly see under her armpit right there is a light spot. That can't be the rug because the rug is a dark color. That's not the same color. She's on the darker portion of the rug. And you don't see no gap between her elbows as what you see initially right there. It's all distorted once it gets to that middle portion of the once you get into the middle of the room. It gets all distorted. Look at that. It doesn't even look real right there. Look how her elbows is positioned. And they had trouble doctoring this one. Once again, you see her outside of the motion detector box. And then you see the light spot right there. They had trouble with this one because of her hair. They couldn't make a distinction between the individual and the hair. Okay, now Miranda Morgan, she posted this video on her Facebook. She was privy to get the very first news clip of the video surveillance footage, and they didn't doctor this one properly because clearly you could see the individual or the shadow of an individual going into the area towards Monica, but then sidesteps. He takes a sidestep out of, I guess, her view. Maybe she was so intoxicated that she didn't even see him. You see that silhouette right there, that little dark image, and it goes towards Monica, and then it sidesteps like he was surprised to catch her like that, and then he sidesteps over to the side, and she walks as if she don't even see him. Maybe she was so intoxicated that she didn't even notice him, and that's probably why he sidestepped so suddenly like that. You see him? Now, you could clearly see that the area in which he was roaming falls in line with the motion detector. It falls right in line with the motion detector. So when the motion detector went off, it was going off because of that individual. Whoever that individual was, that is what set off that motion detector. Because it clearly you could see it right here, it goes off. And you could see he's kind of hovering right in that area. You see the motion detector, and you could see the dark image that they tried to doctor out. Whoever that individual was set off that motion detector. Now, here go a better view of the image. Once again, shout out to Miranda Morgan. It's a better image right here because she's only using one finger to point it out. You could kind of see him walking. This creep walks and then he sidesteps. She probably didn't even see him because she was so intoxicated that he walks and he sidesteps out of her view. And it set off the motion detector. And I guess, they took out the image, but they failed to take out the activation of the motion detector because it's clear that that is what set it off. And that's why I'm glad that they put pressure on them to release the video surveillance. They don't give them time to perfect this craft and, cross all their T's and dot all their I's. So now we could kind of expose this type of stuff right here, because clearly you could see it's an individual that's walking towards her and then sidesteps. Now, this video clip, you could clearly see that it's a dark shadow that pops up right at the doorway. You can see it right there. That dark shadow. Her phone is constantly moving. She probably need to do another one where she keep the phone a little steady and don't put her finger in the way. But despite of that, you can clearly see that it's a dark image that pops out right there. You see it? The dark shadow that pops out right there. What is that? They got to explain that. What is that? Now, they doctored it out since, but this is the very first video clip. She proved it. And go to her Facebook, Miranda Morgan. That's her name. And you can clearly see that it's an individual that pops out right there. Now, this is the same area, by the way, that the very first clip that I showed where her elbow kind of pokes out and it's almost as if somebody grabbed her and pulled her and redirected her. That's that same area. Now you can clearly see that dark image right there. That dark image, that's something. That's somebody's shadow right there. Make no bones about it. They doctored this whole video clip and it's being exposed right now. They can't hide from this. It's clear that you could clearly see an individual right there. Now, once again, going into this video clip, she's only using one finger, so it's a little more clear now. It's clear that it's an individual that's kind of hovering around Kenneka Jenkins as she's going into that area. So that is a dude that's very suspect. You know what I mean? Because this is not too far from the freezer. This is right in that constructed area and into that kitchen area where the freezer exists. So that individual knows what happened to Kenneka Jenkins. But for whatever reason, this is being doctored. You could clearly see the motion detector going off as he approaches towards Kenneka and then suddenly makes that side step right there. Crazy. Crazy. So this is why they had to hide this footage for those days. But I'm gonna let y'all dwell on that one. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube page. This is your boy Solar Mind telling you that knowledge is power. And stay focused, man.